welcome to Sarah's Stamping Retreat. Today we're going to be making 5 different cards using this Pretty Perennials stamp set, the coordinating dies, and then there's also this paper that coordinates with it, and this is something that you can choose as a free celebration gift at the moment. So when you spend £45 or more, you can choose this for free if you want. So you can see I've chopped into this one, but you get 2 of each of these papers. So we get this pretty flowers, and then you get the large flowers on the navy background with the leaves on the back, these circles with the blue patterns on the back, these pretty florals with the stripes on the back, the large florals with the ditzy print on the back, and these florals with this green pattern on the back. So for our first card today, we're going to use this stripy one. So you can see I've just used this stitched rectangle die, really large one, to cut out some stripes from some of the pattern paper we've just seen. So I've got a Night of Navy card blank, and then I've got this piece that I've cut out of the paper, and then we're going to make up our card from here. So this stamp set layers really nicely with these dies, so I'm going to stamp some of the flowers in Night of Navy. And you'll notice that they have some kind of gaps on the petals, but that's how the stamp's designed. It's designed to have a bit of texture to it. And then I'm going to stamp the little hat, this little birthday. And then I'm going to stamp the large happy as well. That's all just on a scrap of basic white cardstock. So you can see these dies are created to cut around this, and then we've got these ones to cut around these two. So I'm going to go and cut those out. So here are the flowers that I've cut out, and I've just cut around that birthday as well, and I'm just going to use my scissors to cut around this happy too. So let's pop our card together. I'm just going to glue this on here. And then I'm going to layer these die cuts onto the flowers. And then here I've got some of the elegant faceted gems. So I'm just going to take some of these white ones to pop them in the middle. I'm just going to take the largest size, just to finish those flowers off a little bit. So I'm just seeing what kind of layout I like for this. I think I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to stick that down. So I'm going to glue the larger flowers on. And then I'm going to put dimensional behind the smaller flowers. And I'm going to glue on the happy. And then I'm just going to cut down a bit of the outside of my dimensionals to go under the birthday. So there we go. I think that's quite a fun little card to start off with. So I thought for the second card we could make a cute little card using this paper. So I want to cut this at an angle. I've got a Night of Navy card blank, and this is a Night of Navy matte. It's about 1/4 of an inch smaller than the card front. And I've run that through my die cutting machine with this embossing folder from the Forever Greenery suite, like this. And then I want to cut this so that it comes down at a point. So I want to cut it probably from about 2 3/4 inches down to about 5 inches. So I'm just going to have a look where that is. I've just got a pen here. So I'm going to mark 2 3/4 inches from the top on either side. Now I'm going to cut it off at 5 inches. And I'm just going to mark the middle of that bottom layer as well. So I'm just going to lay this mark here and this mark here onto my cutting line. And I'm just going to cut it off, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side. So that I end up with a nice triangular piece at the bottom. So then I can lay that over there. And I've also used 2 of the circles from this layering circles set to cut out these 2 circles. And this is a really good set. It has a whole bunch of normal circles and also scallop circles that fit with them. And there's 16 dies in there, so you get a lot of different sizes. So I'm just kind of building up my card so that I can see what I'm doing as I go. And I think I want a happy and a birthday very similar to what I've just had on my other card. And I think actually I might just stamp the birthday in the middle of this circle. So I'm just going to cut this happy out again. So I'm just going to stick all my pieces down. And when I've got a dark card base like this, I always stick a basic white mat inside, usually just 1/4 of an inch smaller than the card front, just so that there's somewhere nice to write, but I usually do that off camera. I'm actually just going to glue this happy onto the circle. I'm just going to put some glue in the middle, and then I can just pop some dimensionals behind that. There's a nice simple second card. So for our next card, I've got a 5 by 5 inch old olive card blank with a mat that measures 4 3/4 inches square in soft sea foam, and then another 4 3/4 inch square mat of the leafy DSP from the Perennials pack I showed you. And what I've done, I've run this through my die cutting machine. And the easiest way that I've found to do this is to run it through with the square on top of the green piece with the smaller of the dies. So you cut through both pieces at once, and then when you've got that, then you can take the larger die and you can place it just around, because you already know where you want your aperture to be then, so you can place it so that it's evenly spaced around the aperture, and then you can send this through your die cutting machine on its own, so that you end up with this border around the outside. So then I'm going to take my piece of soft seafoam cardstock, and I'm going to place this over the top of it so that I know where the aperture is going to be, and then I want to stamp happy birthday within that aperture. So I'm just going to lay out my stamps the way that I want them. So I think I like that layout, so I'm just going to pick that up. So then I'm going to stamp this in Blackberry Bliss onto my mat. And that's not come out as well as I wanted, which is fine because I can just stamp it again because I'm using my Stamparatus. So then you can see if we pop that in the middle of there and fold this over, then that shows nicely through there. So I'm just going to glue that inside. And then I'm going to glue this one onto the outside. So then I've die cut some of the flowers with the coordinating dies. So I've got Flirty Flamingo flowers with, these ones are in Melon Mambo, and I've got the Old Olive here, and then these small bits are the Blackberry Bliss to match the writing in the middle. Now I'm just going to have a little play arranging these around the outside. So I think that's quite cute like this if I cut this bit off here. So I'm just going to cut that off there. And it's nice to cut up your die cuts and use them in different ways. So I'm going to stick these bits to the flowers. And I can pop this little purple bits in the middle. And you actually get two of these dies that make these little purple middle bits. So you can actually, most of these things in one pass, you just need one extra pass for the extra leaf. So let's start sticking these down. I'm just going to cut this off so it doesn't get in the way. And then I'm just going to pop a dimensional on the back of there, stick that one down. So that's our third card. I'm really happy with how that's turned out. So then for our fourth card, I've just got, this is actually a much bigger card than I usually make. It's a 7" by 5" card. So you need a 7" by 10" piece of cardstock, scored and folded in half. And then I've got a piece of the DSP. So this measures 7" by 1.5 inches, and I'm just going to glue that down the side. And then I've got a 7" strip of Night of Navy cardstock, which measures probably about 1/4 inch wide. I'm just going to stick that over the join between the pattern piece and the petal pink piece. And then I thought for this one, rather than stamping flowers, maybe we'd use some of the flowers off the design series paper because these are really gorgeous. So I'm just going to cut round some of these flowers and leaves. So then I've cut out some of these from the paper, and I've also created a happy birthday like we've done before. So I'm just going to just glue some of these to the back of here. I'm just looking at the layout as I go. So I'm just going to glue that down. And then I'm just going to put a bit of this underneath here. I'm going to put this under this side and then a bit of glue under the other side where there's already a dimension under the flower. And I think I'm just going to pop some of these dots down. These are also just bits that I cut from the paper. So then that's our fourth card finished. So then for the final card, I just want to have a little play with our blending brushes. So these are our blending brushes. You can see I've not actually used any of them yet. So they come in a pack of 3. They're really soft. And the thing that makes them different to other ones that I've used before is they've got a really nice soft curve to them. So there's no like edges to it. So as you can see, I've not used this before. So I'm just going to have a little play and see how we do. So I just want to kind of like ombre type look. Okay, so I think I need a bit more. I think I need a bit more ink on it than that. So I'm just starting at one end and kind of brushing my way up the card. And I'm using Rococo Rose ink, so it's kind of that slightly dusky pink. And I think I'm pretty happy with how that looks. Maybe just a little bit actually on the left hand side. I feel like there's a little bit more on the right hand side than the left hand side. And then maybe I'll just make it a little bit darker down the bottom as well. So originally I was going to stamp and die cut flowers for this card. I've just arranged these across. Some of these are bits that I cut out for the last card that I didn't end up using, and then I was going to use these purple ones earlier and didn't end up using those either. So I think I might just actually use up all my leftover pieces, and then because I've loved using the happy and the birthday on these so much, I'm going to use them again for this one. And I think I might do them in Rococo Rose this time. So let's just pop that birthday down here. And we've got that happy, so I'm just going to cut them out in the same way that I've done the others. So I've kind of decided roughly on my layout now, so now the tricky bit's going to be getting it down without messing everything up. And I think for this card I quite like a bit of a kind of chaotic look, so I'm just going to offset this rather than putting it in the right place to have on the other ones. Say the right place, the place that it's intended to go. Because I always think there's no real rights or wrongs when you're crafting. Let's just adhere this to our card base. So it's just a thick basic white card base. So that's our final card. I'm really happy with how that turned out. I really like that ombre effect in the background. Let's bring all the other cards in. So that's all of our cards from today. I really hope that you enjoyed today's project. If you did, please click like below, and you can also click subscribe if you'd like to see future projects. If you click the bell button for notifications and select all, YouTube will also tell you when I have new projects live on my channel. All of the products that we've used to make today's cards will be linked in the description below, and there'll also be a host code there. So if you pop my host code into your basket before you check out, then I'll send you a free gift after the end of the month. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.